You're listening to the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net. Radio's authority on the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology, celebrating 25 years of broadcasting. Broadcasting around the world and to the great beyond.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Good evening, one and all, and welcome back. This is the X-Zone, and I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Worldwide toll-free, 800-610-7035. My email address, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV. And you can listen to the show Monday through Friday from 8 p.m. Eastern until midnight, and then the rest of the week on the 24-hour clock. The best of the X-Zone going back to 1992 forward at www.xzoneradiotv.com. Don't forget X-Zone Nation starting Monday. We are going to be, that's Monday, March the 21st, we are going to be on the Mutual Broadcast Network from 3 p.m. until 7 p.m. Pacific, which is, 6 p.m. until 10 p.m. Eastern. All these new networks, all these new listeners. Thank you, X-Zone Nation, for making all this possible. Well, do we have something very special for you tonight, X-Zone Nation, this hour? Lisa Gutierrez-Haley is our special guest, and we're going to be talking to Lisa about exorcisms, evil, the side of the paranormal that very few people get to hear, get to see. And joining me now from somewhere in California, she says if I pass over the town, I'd never know that she was there, is my guest this hour, Lisa Gutierrez-Haley. And Lisa, welcome to the X-Zone.
Thank you for having me.
It's a great pleasure, Lisa. Now, tell me, you're semi-retired right now. You're getting ready you've got to take it easy for one reason or another. We're not going to get into that. You were kind enough to share it with me before we went on air. How did you get started in the world of exorcism?
It wasn't my intention. It was for self-preservation because I had, since I was 4 years of age, I was being attacked over and over and over again. And finally, in the early 80s, I received some help, and I was from a priest, and he taught me for my protection, and I ended up, over the years, perfecting it and using it to help others.
Can you tell us a little bit about your own encounters with evil that brought you to seeking the advice of a priest and then consequently helping others in their fight against evil?
Yeah, it's very debilitating. It started when I was 4 years of age.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being I lived in the East Coast in Pennsylvania at the time, and we had older houses, farmhouses, and we had like cubby holes in them. I remember being in the cubbyhole and just literally being dragged across the floor. I was dragged so hard by some spirit that it ripped open my knee, and I had to get surgery to get the wood out of my knee. It was so deep in. Then there were just various attacks. Very debilitating attacks where physical things had happened. My arm was broken. My other knee was completely shattered and destroyed because I was thrown off a bicycle while going down a really steep hill. It just kept happening and getting worse. And I had nowhere to turn. Mm-hmm. I would have bruises all over my body, scratches. It's just a horrifying thing to go through, especially when you're a child. And this was back in, I was born in the 60s, so mm-hmm. It wasn't much talked about. It was very taboo, and there wasn't anybody to help. And once I got help, I figured there are people like me that need help as well. And I figure if you have a gift, you use it to help others as best you can.
I agree with you 100%. But as a 4-year-old child, what did your parents do?
Well, my mother thought I was a freak. That's why they moved us to the country, and she didn't want to discuss it. She didn't want to talk about it. She pretty much, kept me away from people as much as she could. So I had a very solitude life mostly. She just did not like what I was and what I was, bringing around. She didn't understand. She thought I was a monster.
Listen, you and I have to take a 2-minute commercial break, Lisa. Please stand by. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us here tonight on the X Zone. We appreciate what you do.
Oh, thank you.
X Zone Nation, my guest this hour is Lisa Gutierrez-Haley, and she is an exorcist. Her story, not to be missed. We'll be back on the other side of this commercial break as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. You can always send us an email, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, on all social media sites, X Zone Radio TV. And of course, you can listen to the X Zone 24/7, 365 at www.xzoneradiotv.com and our podcast site, xzonepodcast.com. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
You're listening to the X Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net.
X Zone Nation, welcome back, everyone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Lisa Gutierrez-Haley is my special guest this hour, and we're talking to Lisa this hour about exorcisms, the reality of evil, negativity, demonic possession, and much more. First of all, Lisa, you and I were talking in the first segment about your first encounters with the negative side of spirituality, or some people call them demons, at the very young age of 4. And yes. Why would your mother think that there was something wrong with you instead of thinking of there was something that was attacking you or causing you to act out the way you were?
Well, I think she had issues. Okay. I think she didn't understand. Myself and my brother were both adopted, so she figured it was a defect from whoever our natural parents were. So she found it to be an embarrassment, and she just didn't understand. They were very closed-minded back then. It was very taboo. They really didn't talk about subjects like that. And, ghost stories were just that, ghost stories.
Right.
They didn't believe that they could be reality. Even though it's right there in their face, she didn't want to believe it.
What did she see, or what was it she wasn't seeing that would tend her to think that it was you and not something else? Like, did she see any of the demonic attacks that you were encountering? Did she see the scarring? Did she see marks?
Oh, yeah. She had to take me to the hospital I don't know how many times.
Oh, God.
I've had broken bones because of it, skin literally ripped open where it took 78 stitches. She saw it. She saw things flying through the house. She witnessed some of this stuff. She knew it, but she just was ignoring it like it didn't exist. Like, this can't be real. This is TV. It's like it's,
right.
It's a figment of her imagination. It can't be real. It has to be the daughter doing it, which, I was a kid. I didn't understand it myself. I just knew they were really mean to me. The monsters, I used to call them the monsters. They were just really mean, nasty people. And those ones weren't very friendly. But then there were others that were just wonderful and were very protective.
It seems as if it seems as if you were the center of a fight between good and evil.
I have a lot of bad spirits that come around me, but now that I'm older, I know how to control them. But I also have a lot of wonderful spirits. there's so much good out there that it's unbelievable. There's more good than bad. But in a lot of cases, people that have ghosts come near them, they think the ghosts are being bad, but sometimes it's just the ghost trying to get attention. They're trying to say, hey, do you see me? Do you understand I'm here? Now, when it's evil or demonic, they're going to know, because they're going to do things that are harmful, that are negative. You can't miss negativity when it comes to a demonic spirit.
When was it you were able to kind of, if you'll excuse the expression, grab the bull by the horns and start to fight back? You know, was it after the intervening of the member of the clergy that you met? And if so, what did he do that strengthened your fight against evil?
He was the first person in my life that ever understood what I was going through. He believed me. He saw the marks. He could relate to what I was going through. He literally took me to an exorcism and showed me what they were like. And he took me under his wing, and he taught me what he knew. He did it without the permission of the Catholic Church. You know, it was between him and I. And I spent 2 years with him teaching me and showing me things, and it just made me stronger, of course. It taught me that, hey, I'm not alone, that there's things you can do to help protect yourself and to make it easier, you know, to stop the pain, to stop the horror. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is a really horrifying experience, but it's gotten to the point where now it doesn't faze me anymore. It's like when they come, it's like, whatever, what do you want? You know, but it took a very long time. It just doesn't happen overnight.
Okay, so how was the member of the clergy able to help you in your fight? What did he teach you? What did he do to ward off the spirits?
He literally taught me the Catholic version of exorcism. Mm-hmm. He taught me a bunch of prayers. He taught me ways to protect myself. He taught me how to be strong. If you can't be strong, you can't believe in yourself. If you don't have faith, it's not going to work. I mean, he taught me how important faith was, and it truly is. Without faith, there is just no hope when it comes to a demonic presence. You can't just get rid of it. And, you know, I wasn't a super religious person. I believe in God, and I believe in what I do, but it took years and years and years to understand it. And then after learning from him, I started using things that, as, you know, a psychic medium, that I knew that I could use towards spirits, and I just combined the both of them.
How would you describe evil in your own words?
Evil is something set on destruction. It's set on destroying anything in its path. It wants to hurt, maim, destroy. It wants to take your heart, your soul, and just rip it out. It wants you not to exist anymore. It wants to completely engulf you. It's basically hell.
Based on your own religious beliefs and your own personal experiences, the evil that you have been fighting, is this the evil that comes from the devil that we associate with the Bible, or is this an evil that is even worse than that and that transcends any part of the imagination that we have when it comes to the word evil itself?
You know, I truly believe it is both. I really, truly do, because I've seen different kinds of evil, and I truly believe it's both, honestly, from what I've observed in the last 33 years, helping others. I truly believe it's both. I've dealt with people that have absolutely no religion, don't believe in God, care nothing about God, yet they're attacked. I have others that are super-duper religious, you know, go to church every day, and they're attacked as well. But there's different types of attacks. It goes, I mean, all the way down to children. I've seen children attacked. You know, when you're a child, you don't think much of a religion. When you're 5 or 6, you're just thinking about playing dolls or playing baseball or G.I. Joe. You're not thinking about devils and angels. You're thinking of, you know, good things, happy things, and it happens to children.
What is the main goal of evil? What does it want to do?
It wants to take over that particular person. It wants to destroy that person. In a lot of cases, the demonic entity wants to take over the body of the person and then use that as a vessel. They want to destroy. They're set on destruction. That's all they want to do, is to destroy. They get enjoyment out of it.
If there is evil, and I don't doubt there is, I believe there is. First of all, let me get that out, and let me say that straight. I also believe there is good. I've seen both in people.
Yes.
When you're being attacked by these demonic forces, why are there not the good forces, the good angels, to come to your rescue and protect you, especially when you were a child, for goodness sake?
I don't know, because at one point there was a spirit. He's still around me to this day. His name was Cedric. He came in and he did do his best to help protect me. And I still have him around me to this day, since I was a little over 4. He came in and he did his best to do what he could. But they all have different energy levels. And demonic, they are very, very strong. And they have so much energy. And there's only, I don't know how much energy the other spirits had, but I know the ones that I dealt with that were good, they tried, but they could only do so much. But I believe that has to do with their energy base.
How do they pick their victims? Why do they pick their victims?
Well, like myself, I was sensitive. I can see them, hear them, interact with them, so I'm an easy target. I look at it this way. A regular person is a 40-watt light bulb.
Okay.
It shines, bright enough for you to see. A person with some kind of gift, be it psychic, medium, clairvoyant, whatever, their light bulb is 150 watt. So as these demonic spirits or even good spirits are passing by, they're going to go to the brighter light. But there's also the flip side, the normal person that doesn't have any ability. If you have sadness, depression, addiction, you're an easy target for them. Very easy target. You're a smorgasbord. They're going to go for you. If you're using, if you're worshiping the devil, if you're using a Ouija board, things that open, you can set yourself up, not even meaning to. I mean, the Ouija board, people think it's just a simple little game, no big deal. It's far from it. It opens doorways, and it can bring evil through.
I can understand that in teenagers. I can understand that in adults. But let's take your example. A 4-year-old child. What did you do at the age of 4 that allowed, or what does any child do, just not you, any child do that would allow these negative entities to come in and start causing hell in your life?
I believe it's because a child's mind is so open, it's so innocent, it's so free, that it's just easy for them to just enter in because it's just so open.
It's just that easy.
It's very easy. You'll find that a lot of people with a gift will find that they started their gift when they look back probably about 4 or 6 years of age.
Lisa, stand by, sweetie. You and I have to take our news break at the bottom of the hour. Exonation Lisa Gutierrez-Haley is our special guest this hour. We're talking to Lisa. She is an exorcist. She has been the victim of the forces of evil, and now she's telling her story here on the X Zone. We'll be back on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to the X Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net. Welcome back, everyone. Lisa Gutierrez-Haley is my special guest. Talking about evil, demonic possession, exorcism. I have to ask you this, Lisa. Do you believe in angels?
Mm-hmm.
Do
Yes, I
angels
do.
do angels protect us against evil?
I know they try their darn best. They really do. They do as much as they can for us. But we also have to take part in it as well.
I've been told by many people who communicate with angels that the one big mistake that we humans make is not to ask the angels for help.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree.
Why?
100%.
Yeah. So, how do you take your experiences that you've had since you were a little one of 4 years old, the evil that you've had in your life, how you've been abused by the evil in your life? How do you use that negative experience and turn it into a positive experience where you help people to fight the same odds that you were against, the same evil that you were against?
Honestly, because everything that I've been through has taught me and made me stronger and made me understand it. By experiencing it, I can relate to people that are going through it. I think it really helps when you've been through what they've been through and you know what their emotions are going to be, how they're going to act. I really think that helps a lot. My goal is to empower people and give them their lives back. I mean, that's the most reward of all. If you can give someone back their life and get them back on track again, you've won. You have everything you want right there. That is the greatest reward of all. That's all it's about.
How often, in your opinion, are people being subjected to the forces of evil in today's society? And in what forms does evil come?
Oh, that's a hard question. I believe people are being attacked every day, all over the world, 100%. It comes in many forms.
Mm-hmm.
It can start simply, God, I wouldn't even know how to describe it. All of a sudden, depression, sadness, paranoia. People can be attacked because they're addicted to drugs, they're addicted to alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much animosity and fighting within the family or within the unit. I mean, I can't describe how it happens. I mean, it just sneaks up on you. One day you're fine, the next day your whole entire personality changes, your whole entire world changes. It just, all of a sudden, things start to change and progress. I know many of the clients have gotten to deep depressions. I mean, their total way of acting has completely changed from once very nice and very well-behaved to very promiscuous and voyeuristic. I mean, they have a complete personality change. They make enemies of their family, their friends. They become very reclusive, and it progresses from there. I mean, it even happens that way in children a lot of the times.
Let me ask you, Lisa. Many people listening to the show tonight have seen the movie The Exorcist. How close to reality was that movie?
You know, I just saw that for the first time like a year ago, honestly, and it surprised me. It was pretty good, I have to admit. It was better than I thought, because I always avoid shows like that because I always end up giggling and laughing, as
Right.
you know, and critiquing it. But I liked it. It was fairly honest. It was one of the most honest ones out there, you know, and it shows how with a priest or a person performing an exorcism, it takes a part of you every time you do one. And you're in as much danger as the client you're trying to help, as the person possessed. I mean, there's transferences, all kinds of things that can happen. It's an exorcism itself can be deadly. It's a lot of responsibility. It's not like these other shows on TV where you're going to go boo and it's gone.
Right.
Sometimes it takes years. It can take years, and sometimes it never works, and sometimes it only takes one time. It totally, totally depends. Each situation has a different ending, a different length of time. It's just, they're all different. They're never the same. And it's never easy, And it's not like these other shows, but The Exorcist, I had to admit, it surprised me. It did surprise me a lot.
I hope
I don't know about the head spinning part. That's a bit much.
Really, that's Hollywood at its best, I would imagine. Please don't take.
Hollywood has to have their little thing.
Of course, please don't take what I'm going to ask you now the wrong way. I'm asking you this with respect. I can understand a member of the clergy, an ordained minister or a priest, having the authority to cast out an evil spirit or a demon. But you're a lay person. How did
I'm
you...
an ordained minister as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
My apologies.
Yeah, I am.
The one little thing you forgot to mention in your bio.
Sorry, I thought I did. I'm sorry.
Let me see. let me see here. I learned these skills at first for self-preservation, but in time I helped others. I used the skills I learned from my mentor and what I learned along the way and combined them together. I have helped people for the past 33 years. I have never charged a client in all these years, and God bless you for that. In the end of 2015, I retired from the field. Well, at least I'm trying my best to retire. I have adopted self-help for my clients, like blah, 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 blah. You consider yourself a demonologist, exorcist, cleanser, medium, etc. I believe a gift is given to us to help others and not given to not to make a profit. You're a nice lady. You live in the high desert of California.
Thank you.
You live in the high desert of California. You lead a very reclusive life, except with your little...
Extremely.
Except for your, 12 dogs?
Animals.
Yeah, okay.
7 dogs and 5 cats.
But my dear friend, the one thing you forgot in your bio is that you're an ordained minister. Okay, all right. So scrap that question, all right? Scrap that question. How do people find you?
Oh, God. That's why I'm reclusive. If they don't know me and they judge me by, like, some of these TV shows, they get the wrong idea. They think I have a very dark life and I'm a really scary person, so they'll go out of their way to avoid me. But people that know me find that I'm a very bright person as far as a bright aura, and I'm very friendly and I'm very open and very loving and very giving. But people, when you tell them what you do for a living, they run and hide. I've been shunned my entire life. I'm used to being alone, and my husband, God bless his soul for loving me, because it can't be easy. Trust me, that poor man. I mean, because the life is totally different than normal. It's far from a normal life. But it's what was meant to be for me, and I embrace every bit of it.
When somebody contacts you and they say, Lisa, I've got a problem. I believe I'm possessed, or I believe my son or daughter is possessed. How do you proceed from that point? What do you do? How do you handle it?
Oh, it's a long process. First, you, of course, interview them via internet or phone. Then you want to go in and do an investigation, check out the house. You want to interview each person in the family. If they truly believe they're possessed, you have to get them psychologically evaluated as well. And then we talk with the psychologists. They have to go for a physical as well. I mean, there's all kinds of checks and balances that you have to go through. It's not just, hey, my kid's possessed, come over and do an exorcism. That's not how it works. There's a lot of liability in it. I mean, you have to observe them. It can take quite a bit of time in order to perform an exorcism, because you have to make sure that exorcism is warranted. And then you have to figure out how safe is it, how deep are they into it. I mean, sometimes it can take weeks to months to evaluate a person. And then if you do have to do an exorcism, you have to have medical people on site, because you never know what can happen. They can be deadly. I mean, they're very dangerous. So it's not something done lightly. And we also try to see if we can avoid doing an exorcism. Is there something else we can do? Is it simply a property exorcism or a cleansing or a fumigation? Are these options that we can do before we have to do the ultimate of an exorcism? I mean, we try to avoid an exorcism. And in a lot of cases, the spirit is within the home and not within the person, but they jump in and out. So sometimes we can get it by doing a cleansing and a fumigation and stuff like that. But it's a process. We don't just go in and grab the Bible and read it.
How many people, let's say you're going to do the exorcism. You've tried everything else. Final thing that has to be done is that the exorcism must be done. How many people do you bring with you?
Very few. Usually, if there's a strong person within the family, like a husband, a father, a brother, if you need strong people with you. You don't want any. I prefer strong males. We have to use ropes or handcuffs. The person has to be, restrained. They have to be restrained because you never know what's going to happen to them or what they can do to others. So I don't like more than myself and two people in the room at the most. Plus, they have to understand the danger of it, the liability of it. It's not an easy thing, and there's not a lot of people that want to help. And I can't blame them. I truly can't.
In your opinion, what has been your toughest challenge when it comes to exorcising someone? And who was the demon, or what was the demon that you exorcised?
There was a child. Oh, God. One of my first cases I went to with the priest. I can't remember what demonic entity it was, but it was seeing what that child was going through and how it deformed his body. And at one point, it literally snapped his from his elbow to his arm. Literally was hanging. It was just hanging. And it's a child. That was I believe an 8-year-old child, and his hair was gray, and it was just horrific. Dealing with children being possessed is the most horrible thing you'll ever have to see. It's just unbelievable the pain they go through. And it's hard enough a child's sick, but can you imagine a child with a demonic entity?
No.
It's just, and what that entity could do to that child's body, how they twist it, and the way they look, it's not a child's face when you look at them. It's totally changed.
In today's society, there are skeptics of great proportion. How do you deal with skepticism when there are so many TV shows, like we both alluded to earlier, that basically make it look like child's play, I can become an exorcist? Plus, there are websites on the internet now where you can spend $65 and get a certificate that says you're an exorcist. They sell you holy water. They do this. How do people get away with this?
They shouldn't, because they're selling people to get hurt, and that's criminal in my eyes. If you're doing that, you should be held liable for it. If you're selling this exorcism kit, saying, if you read this, you can be an exorcist, that's ridiculous. It doesn't work that way. It scares me. It literally scares me.
What should somebody do if they believe that they are being targeted, or a member of their family is being targeted by a demonic entity?
The first thing you should do is call your local priest and ask them to come into your home. If a priest has time, they'll come in and they'll evaluate your home and your person. And sometimes it's as simple as them giving a blessing. So I would say the first thing to do is reach out to a priest. Now, if you're not religious, there are a lot, and I mean there are a lot of paranormal groups out there that work for free. Look for ones that work for free, not the ones that want money, because they're all about money. Have them come in, have them do an investigation, see what they come up with. I mean, these are two good ways to start. Also, see a psychiatrist. Believe it or not, I have psychiatrists calling me, telling me that, hey, my patient here, I believe, is possessed. That never happened about 20 years ago. That's only happened in the last, I'd say, 4 or 5 years.
Right.
But they're even coming around to saying, hey, this isn't something mental. This is something spiritual, and I can't handle this. This has to go to someone else. So there's avenues they can go through. Now, I would never, ever use a paranormal company that charges, ever. There are too many wonderful paranormal companies out there that do it for the love of what they do, and they do it for free.
I had a gentleman call me a couple of weeks ago, and he has tried everything where he lives to get a member of the clergy to come in and help him. And he says that the ministers, the priest, he's even brought in a rabbi, will not go into the room where this entity that he believes resides. They will not go in, and you can hear the fear in his voice. You can hear the anxiety, the frustration. So, is this a rare? Is
that's
this?
Where someone?
I'm sorry, dear.
Go ahead.
No, ladies first.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, is this normal, where you get this kind of pushback from the church or the clergy when it comes to demonic entities?
I don't like to speak ill of the church, but a lot of times they don't want to help. They don't have the time to help. A lot of times people reach out to them and they just say, "No, can't help you. Nope, not going to do it." So that's why people like me are here.
Well,
I've never said no to a client.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a link to an interview I did with him that we haven't aired yet, and I'd like to get your opinion. And if you'd like, I'll give you the contact information, because I think that he would be very happy to hear from someone who can help him.
Sure. Where's he located?
I believe it's Iowa or Idaho. Iowa or Idaho, yeah. I think. But,
Yeah, send me the link. I'll be glad to look at it.
All right. You and I have to take our final break. Speaking about links, we'll be back on the other side of this short break as we continue here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. My name is Rob McConnell. We'll both be back on the other side. Don't go away.
You're listening to the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net.
Explanation. Our guest this hour has been Lisa Gutierrez-Haley, somewhere in California. Her and her family, and what is it, 7 dogs and 5 cats?
Yes.
Got it right.
And 1 husband.
And God bless him. Listen, first of all, Lisa, I want to thank you ever so much for coming on the show. It's been a great pleasure talking to you, and thank you for the great work that you do.
Oh, thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
Can you give us some pointers on what listeners can do to protect themselves against evil, against demons, and against possession?
The best thing they can do is any negative people in their lives, remove them. Any negative energy of any kind, any fighting in the home, try to get it under control. Any kind of addictions, be it alcohol, be it drug-related, get some help for it. Don't play with the dark side. Don't pray to the devil, things like that. Don't open those doors that you shouldn't open. Don't use a Ouija board unless you absolutely know how to protect yourself. And if you got to destroy it, make sure you destroy it the one and only way you can destroy it. If you try to burn it, if you try to put it in water, or if you just throw it away, that's not going to work. I mean, it's very simple. If someone's using a Ouija board and you want to get rid of it, break it into 7 pieces, douse it with holy water, and bury it. That is the only way to get rid of it, and only way to prevent negative or demonic energy to come into your life.
So you break it into 7 pieces, douse it with holy water, and bury it.
Holy water.
Right.
Exactly. If you feel you have negative energy in your home, You can actually make your own holy water, and there's directions on the line everywhere how to make your own holy water. You can spray it throughout your house. You can fumigate your house by using frankincense and myrrh throughout your house if you feel a bad energy. You can use lavender oil. It's a very healing, calming thing. A lot of people use sage. It works as well, but it's kind of stinky. Being positive and believing in yourself is very helpful. You know, not opening those doorways. I mean, a lot of people do. And be careful what you purchase, because sometimes items come with attachments. So if you want to buy something and it feels kind of strange, don't buy it. Avoid it. It could have some kind of attachment.
Lisa, what does we've got about 30 seconds left. What does your husband say about the work that you do?
Well, it creeps him out, but he understands it, and he's backed me 100%. He has been a rock for me, and he's gone through a lot just dealing with the stuff that he has to see that goes on around me. So that man is amazing.
Well,
amazing.
An amazing man for an amazing lady. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Lisa. It's been a great pleasure talking to you. And I hope that we have the pleasure of speaking to you again in the future.
That would be awesome. And thank you so much for having me on.
You know, it's been our great pleasure. And I'll send you that link, and I'd love to hear what you think. All right. Take care of yourself, Lisa.
Yes.
Exonation, my guest this hour has been Lisa Gutierrez-Haley. And if you'd like to get a hold of Lisa, send me an email, and I will forward it to Lisa. I'll be back on the other side of this break as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.